Yo, Shalom. I want to go praise on the glory. Yo, I forgot to turn. At least I have to face the east. The east. I want to give up praises on them glory to Yahweh, but Shema Rishai, but Shema Kakadash. And though we're honest, I was in the process of getting it. Peace, blessing, salutations to the hopeful elect. I can't lie, it's cold out here, man. And then again, I was gonna go through these articles, but these articles. So, man, I should have combed my hair. Should have combed it. But even then, I'm just waiting for my hair to grow. Yeah, but there's this. So basically, there was flooding. There was flooding. So yeah, there was basically flooding. Not the flooding, but it says and landslides as well. Vietnam. But that's just one thing. And then again you got as it says Disney Wonder Cruise passenger 73 dies after falling overboard during trip. And it's like, how do you fall overboard? I don't know how you fell overboard. Yeah, it's probably the end of the world. That big it. But yeah, as it says. We also got this also. Boy 14 dies and 6 other teens is shot after riot erupts at a Christmas light event. And even then, we're not supposed to be celebrating Christmas. And the Lord makes mention of that in the book of Jeremiah. No, let me get it. It's in the book of Jeremiah. You're joking me. I don't have the Bible app on my day. Where's my files? You know what I'm gonna have to do? I'm gonna have to send it. Yeah, this is basically yeah, well, I got the app now. Let me go to the Jeremiah. Yeah, Jeremiah 10 and 1 it says, hear ye the word of which the Lord Yahweh speaketh unto you, the house of Israel. Thus saith the Lord, learn not the way of the people, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for be not dismayed at the signs. And again, going to the chariots. the people are definitely dismayed by that. They haven't seen these vehicles before. So obviously, when they do see it, it's going to be terrifying. Imagine this one video that I've seen, which they said there was basically it was a green chariot, and what they said, it was a green mermaid. They said it was a green mermaid. I don't know why they said it was a green mermaid. It was evidently a chariot. And it says, for the customers the people are vain, for one cutteth a tree out of the forest, the work of the hands of the workman with an axe. Let's go on to the Christmas trees, man. They deck it with silver and with gold. They fasten it with nails and hands, that it move not. And again, this is something they do. Now they'll be saying the 25th of December is when the Lord was born, which that's a bunch of lies. The Lord was born around spring. Which should be there it is. There it is. Crazy. So now I'm looking over there, and what I see is a chariot. And then that made me look up there, and there's a chariot. No, let's have a look. Let's have a look. No. Wait there. Wait. Look at that. Chariot. And you also go over there. And let's hope I can actually get it. You see it? You can see it flashing. I'm talking about that light on the right. And literally, it appeared. It literally appeared. It appeared. Yeah, it appeared when I don't even know, man. It disappeared. And you also got the one up there, man. No, you know what? Normally, there's supposed to be one over there or one over there, but obviously, it's not here. Yeah, like I was going into Christmas, the Lord was born during the time of spring. And again, you can type in the spring equinox, and literally it'll give you the time, man. Or should I say the date of when the Lord was born, man. It was born when things come to life, man. During spring. As it says, they deck it with silver and with gold. They fasten it with nails, with hammers, that it move not. They are upright. So yeah, they stand like this, upwards. He says they are upright as a palm tree, but speak not. They must needs be born, because they cannot go. Be not afraid of them, for they cannot do evil, neither also is in them to do good. So yeah, they can't do anything. But people's deck it with gold and silver, man. They literally deck it with gold and silver. You're gonna be telling that. Oh, let's worship they'll be using the name Jesus, which if we break that down, it goes into earth. You see that's what the name means. And then even then you go into what's it called? The worshiping. It's literally the worshiping of Nimrod. And we all know what happened with Nimrod. I'm sure that it's in this book somewhere. I don't know where it is. I can't lie. I'm pretty cool. I'm pretty cool. But anyway. Yeah, second of just 30. The second of just 13 and 1. And then it came to pass, after 7 days I dreamed a dream by night. And lo, there arose a wind from the sea that moved all the waves thereof. And that wind that it's talking about is the Rakak of Dash, or the Holy Spirit. As the Lord said, wisdom is more moving than any motion. And he said, and I beheld and know that man was strong with 1,000 of heaven. And when he turned his countenance to look, all things trembled that were seen under him. So yeah, all the other nations that are down here on this planet, they all saw him. And even then, like the scriptures say, yeah, Matthew 24:27. It says, for as the lightning cometh out of the east, and shineth even unto the west, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. So yeah, everyone's going to see the coming of Yahweh Shai. Then it says, and I beheld and lo, that man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven. And when he turned his countenance to look, all things trembled that was seen under him. So like I may mention those other nations. And then he says, and whensoever the voice went out of his mouth, all they burned that heard his voice. Like as the earth faded when the heat was fire. And again, out of these chariots are going to issue fire. Damn, that chariot bright as hell, I can't lie. That chariot is bright as hell. Like, that's crazy. That's over there. That's crazy. It's moved. Huh. So it says that was seen under him being the other nations. And carrying on, whensoever the voice went out of his mouth, all they burned that heard his voice, like as the earth feeleth when it feeleth the fire. So then again, like I said, man, out of those chariots are going to come fire. As it also makes mention in the book of Isaiah. As it says here. I don't know. Yeah, it says, for behold, Isaiah 66 and 15. It says, for behold, the Lord will come with fire, and his chariots like a whirlwind, and when his anger will fury, and his rebuke with flames of fire. Yeah, and the fire's gonna come out of the chariots. Oh, look at that chariot. Is that a chariot right there? I thought it was, I thought I just saw one. But more than likely it was probably the light from the car. More than likely. If it was probably it would still be there. Whoa, oh God. What the hell was that, man? I don't know what that was. It's kinda crazy. Yeah, but yeah, like I said, for the whole the Lord will come with fire. And these chariots like a roll. Okay, that's a chariot. That is a chariot. There ain't even no cars here. There's no cars here. That's crazy. There was no cars here. So it's like, where did the light come from? It appeared and disappeared. But normally that's what the chariots did. They appeared and disappeared. Will it come up again? I don't know. Carrying on, it says, for by fire and by sword will the Lord plead with all flesh, and I will plead in this judgment. He said, and the saying of the Lord shall be made. And again, see what I mean? These cars are going by and you don't see the light up there. You literally don't see the light up there. It's kind of crazy, to be honest. How are you, sir? Walaikum assalam. So, generally, if you wonder why I said Walaikum assalam, it's literally just another language. If you want to put it like that, it's another language in which you say it to greet someone that says salam to you, man. But yeah, it says, for by fire and by sword will the Lord plead with all flesh. The saying of the Lord shall be many. So that means a whole lot of people are going to die. And then again, these things are here, but it's like these Christians don't read, man. They just don't read. Like, it literally tells you a whole bunch of people are going to die. Only if they actually read the book. And even then, the chariot's gone. Like, even then, when you read it, it's like, actually, wait. Yeah, when they read it, they don't even know what they're reading. Like, they don't get it. Yeah, verse 5, 2 Corinthians 13 and 5. It says, and after this I beheld and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men out of the number from the four winds of the heaven to subdue the man that came out of the sea. And the one that came, out of the sea was Yahushua, man. If you want the breakdown for that, it's Genesis 1 and 6. It says, and the powers said, let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters. So essentially, you got the water. Oh my God, there's a chariot over there. That chariot. Yo. That might be a chariot. If it's not a chariot, then it's probably a plane. Let me see what I can show you. there it is. You know what? That actually might be a plane. Okay. No, it wasn't a plane. It wasn't a plane. It just disappeared. Literally, it just disappeared. That bright light, what we just saw, it just disappeared. It's not even there no more now. That's crazy. So again, that was a chariot right there, man. That we just saw. Here's me thinking it's a plane. It's not a plane. It's a chariot. And it's kind of fitting that speaking about the chariots and the chariots are up here. And even then, my hands are freezing, man. My hands are freezing. Yeah, but Genesis 1:6 it says, the clouds will never be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and they divide the waters from the waters. And the clouds made the firmament and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament, and it was so. So yeah, those basically, as you see, the sky's blue. The reason why it's blue is because there's water up there. And then you got the sea and ocean down here, which is the second waters. Which that's what the scripture is talking about. And even then in verse 8 says, the powers called the firmament, the evening and the morning of the second day. So yeah, the evening and the morning of the second day. And the firmament was called heaven. So when it says it came out of the sea, it's talking about from up above. Second Edges 30. Yeah, 60 says, but I beheld and lo, he had great himself a great mountain and flew upon it. And again, just going into the Lord's chariot. And even then we had what's it called? We had sightings of this big chariot, in which I've done a video on it. In which, yeah, man. But even then, the chariots can look like rocks, man. Yeah, literally, man. The chariots can look like rocks. So the boy I would have seen the reason or the place where the hill was graven, and I could not. So yeah, Ezra couldn't even see the beginning nor the ending of this ship. That's how big it was. It's kind of amazing how the chariots are pulling up, man. You see, even then again, man, they were pulling up and then disappearing. You know, I'm gonna let those who watch see the chariots, man. Obviously, we saw one by the house. There's also one up there, and then there's one all the way over there, hiding in the trees. Literally. And then again, going to the sides of the chariot. Zechariah 5:1. And he says, then I turned and lifted up mine eyes and looked, and behold, a flying robe, and a flying robe being a chariot. That's crazy. Huh? What did you say? Kind of. But yeah, it's just kind of crazy. Like I'm talking about the chariots. And the one over there is shining extremely bright, and then the light comes back off. Like I can see it, the light's dim. But when I start talking about the chariots, the brightness of the chariot increases. He said, then I turned and lifted up mine eyes and looked, and behold, a flying roll, like I said, being a chariot. And he said unto me, what seest thou? And I answered, I see a flying roll, the length of is 20 cubits, and the breadth of 10 cubits. And you see, then again, you could actually go on to could go ahead and look at AI, and the AI will tell you what the size of that chariot was. The verse 3 says, then said he unto me, this is the curse that will go forth over the face of the whole earth. For everyone that stealeth shall be cut off on that side according to it. And then again in being Esau. And everyone that sweareth shall be cut off on that side according to it. And again with Esau again. Basically both times Esau. They said, and I'll bring it forth, said the Lord of hosts. Being the Lord of armies, that's what host means. And it says, and it shall enter into the house of the thief. Again being Esau again. And into the house of him that sweareth falsely by my name. And again, Esau again. Literally, it always goes back to Esau. It really does. Where was that? So, and it shall remain in the midst of his house, and shall consume it with the timber thereof, and the stones thereof. I could also make mention in Jeremiah 49. Jeremiah 49 and 22, man. As it says, behold, it shall come and fly as the eagle, and spread his wings over Bosra. And Bosra being essentially being America, man. And again, that's a giant of these Edomites drop. And at that day shall the heart of the mighty men of Edom be as the heart of a woman in her pangs. So these men are going to be afraid, man. Every single one of them is going to be afraid. Why? Because the Lord has shown up, that's why. Yeah, literally. Yeah, Zechariah 5 and 5. And it says, then the angel that talked with me went forth and said unto me, lift up now thine eyes and see what is this that goeth forth. And I said, what is it? And he said, this is an ephah that goeth forth. He said, moreover, this is the remembrance through all the earth. And I'm sure the ephah is the gold. Actually, no, that's the ephod. I got it mixed up. But is it the same thing? Oh no, that must be a different scripture. Like literally. We're carrying on second address 13. and 8, it says, and after this I beheld, and lo, all they which were gathered together to subdue him were so afraid, and yet durst fight. So yeah, the Lord's gonna put the spirit on them to fight, man. It says, and lo, as he saw the violence of the multitude that came, he neither lifted up his hand, nor held sword, nor any instrument of war. So, so yeah, he was sitting comfy in his chariot, man. It said, but only I saw that he sent out of his mouth, as had been a blast of fire, and out of his lips a flaming breath, and out of his tongue he cast out sparks and tempests. Then again, like it says, man, he lighted them flames, man. And if you actually look into that word, it goes into mixed, which means a mixing of elements. And it says, and they were all mixed together, the blast of fire, the flaming breath, and the great tempest, and fell with violence upon the multitude which was prepared to fight, and burned up every one, so that upon a sudden there were the multitude, nothing was to be perceived, but only the dust and smell of smoke. When I saw this, I was afraid. So yeah, even Ezra tells him, and he was afraid when he saw these things coming, or should I say, when he saw what the Lord's ship did, man. It sent out that fire. And it says afterwards, saw I the same man come down from the mountain, and called unto him another peaceable multitude, which again saying Yahushua came out of his chariot, and he called upon basically the northern kingdom. It says, and there came much people unto him, whereof some were glad, and some were sorry, and some of them were bound, and other some brought of them were offered. Then was I sick with great fear, and I awaked and said, Thou hast shown thy servant these wonders from the beginning, and hast counted me worthy that thou shouldest receive my prayer. So yeah, then again, this being the vision. This being the vision that was showed unto Ezra. This is the vision that was showed unto Ezra, man. And even then, with this, I can't lie, it's cold, man. Yeah, even with this, it's gonna come to the part where there's going to be war in heaven, man. And the war in heaven being Yahushua and his angels against Esau and his angels, which his angels being his army, his military. The 2nd Esdras 13 and 25, it says, This is the meaning of the vision. Whereas thou sawest a man coming up from the midst of the sea. Which again, that sea being up there in the sky, man. There's water up there. It said, the same is he whom God has kept a great season, which by his own self shall deliver his creature, and he shall order them that are left behind. So yeah, when it says his creature, it means his servants, man. Or you could say his elect. They're the ones who are going to be delivered in those days, man. It says, "Whereas thou sawest that out of his mouth there came a blast of wind and fire and storm," which again going into those laser beams, man. "And that he had held neither sword nor any instrument of war, but that the rushing in of him destroyed the whole multitude that came to subdue him." This is the interpretation. So there you go, man. These people were subdued by Yahushua. They were completely destroyed, man. It says, "Behold, the days come when the Most High will begin to deliver them that dwell upon the earth. And he shall come to the astonishment of them that dwell on the earth. And one shall undertake to fight against another, one sea against another, one place against another, one people against another, and one realm against another." And the realm going into kingdoms, man. And you also got these other wars that are going to take place as well. For example, you got World War III, man. Not only do you have World War III, but that's not there. Then you also got Civil War, which is going to come as well. Then you also got what's it called? You had the insurrection. And with the insurrection, that's going to come upon people that fear the Lord, man. And then again, it's also known as evil, which that evil is going to draw out those who have been lying and saying that they believe in the Lord, but they really don't. That's how the Lord's going to bring that evil. And so the time shall be when these things shall come to pass, and the sign shall happen which I showed thee before. And then shall my son be declared, whom thou sawest as a man ascending. Now go back to the book of Acts, chapter 1, and verse 9. As it says, "Ye men of Galilee, why stand ye gazing into heaven? The same Yahushua that was taken from you shall return in like manner." Verse 33 says, "And when all the people who is every man shall in their own land lead the battle they have with one against another." So yeah, when all these people are fighting, they're going to hear the voice of Yahushua, and they're all going to start fighting each other. And they're going to look at Yahushua as the enemy. And it says, his voice, everyone, yeah. It says, "An innumerable multitude shall be gathered together, as thou sawest them willing to come, and to overcome him by fighting." So yeah. So yeah, they're going to try and fight against Yahushua, but obviously it's not going to work out. It's literally not going to work out. Oh, look at that chariot. It appeared and then disappeared, literally. And if you're wondering where it was over here. It was up there. That's where it appeared. Oh, it's cold, man. Now I can't lie, I just looked over there and I saw, I don't know if I saw a chariot or not. I'm not 100% sure. Because what happened was it was flashing like white and red. Like the color of amber was flashing those colors. And then I know I said it before, but it disappeared. It appeared and disappeared. It's amazing. But yeah, carrying on, it says people against another. Yeah, verse 34 says, and an innumerable multitude shall be gathered together as thou sawest them willing to come and to overcome him by fighting. Then again, they're not gonna win. Because as it makes mention in the book of Isaiah 63, what does it say? Yeah, as it says here, Isaiah 63 1 says, who is this that coming from Edom? That coming from America? Which dyed the garments on Basra? Which again, Basra, Basra being the places where Edom dwells, well, most importantly in America. It says that this is glorious in its apparel, traveling in the greatness of his strength, either speaking righteousness and might to save. And again, that great outshine. So then again, these people aren't going to beat him. Why? Because he's going to come back as an angel. Yeah, I'm carrying on. Verse 35 says, but he shall stand upon the top of Mount Zion, and Zion shall come, and shall be showed unto all men, being prepared and builded like a ground. Surely, like as thou sawest the hill graven without hands. Yeah, and that hill being the what's it called, man? Basically being the ministry, man. Being the servants, the prophets, being the Lord's elect. And even then, that's after Yahushua's gathered them. Because when Yahushua comes back, you're gonna see all these chariots flying all over the place, man. And they're going to gather the Lord's elect from the four winds. But it says, but he shall stand up unto the top of Mount Zion, basically where the Israelites are, which the majority of them are over there in America. It says, and Zion shall come, and shall be shown to all men, being prepared and builded, like as thou sawest the hill graven with thy hands. and my son shall rebuke the wicked inventions of those nations, which from their wicked lives are fallen into tempest. So essentially, going to the MRTB, being the RFID, micro, CHIP, and the brain CHIP as well. And even then, them building up these AI kingdoms. I want to say these AI kingdoms, I mean, everything runs on AI. The Lord's going to destroy it all, man. It says, and shall lay before them their evil thoughts, and their torments wherewith they shall begin to be tormented, which are like unto a flame, and it shall destroy them without labour by the law which is like unto me. So yeah, Yahushua is going to be judged by the law of his father. It says, and whereas thou sawest that he gathered another peaceable multitude unto him. Those are the 10 tribes which were scattered abroad. Actually, no, they were the 10 tribes which were carried away prisoners out of their own land in the time of Uzziah the king, whom Solomon's the king of Assyria led away captive, and he carried them over the waters and so came they into another land. And again, this is going into Austria, usually being where South America is. That's literally Austria. So, but they took his counsel among themselves, that they would leave the multitude of the heathen and go forth into another country where never mankind dwelt. So you had the place where Solomon was. Or should I say the place that Solomon knew about? He would send people over there to get what's it called, peacocks. Peacocks and these different plants and these fruits. To bring it back over to where he was. He said that they might there keep their statues which they never kept in their own land. And they entered into the Euphrates by the narrow places of the river. And again, if you look at how the Northern Kingdom or the Latinos, Native Americans and similar Indians go over there, you'll know that they went through the passage of the river Euphrates. Yes, and they entered into the Euphrates by the narrow places of the river. For the Most High then showed them signs for them, and how stilled the flood till they were passed over. So through that country there were a great way to go, namely a year and a half. In the same region is called Osiris. And Osiris is literally, like I said, the land that King Solomon knew about. And people weren't even dwelling there. And let me jump down to verse 49 because this carries on with what I was talking about. But it says, now when he destroys the multitude of the nations that are gathered together, he shall defend his people that remain. And again, the ones that remain being the Lord's elect one. This is my word here. The Lord will deliver them. I can't let my hands freezing, but my hand is freezing. Isaiah 34, what? It says, and come near ye nations to hear, and hearken ye people. Let the earth hear, and all that is there in the world, and all things that come forth of it. So again, obviously, it's literally saying to everyone to hear the word of the Lord. For the indignation of the Lord is upon all nations, and his fury upon all their armies. You have utterly destroyed them. You have delivered them to the slaughter. Yes, he has delivered them to the slaughter. And like I said, with the prince, with the archangel Michael, they're gonna try and fight against him. And obviously they're gonna be destroyed, man. And these armies that he's talking about, which obviously makes mention of the other nations. As the sin also shall be cast out, and the stink shall come up out of their carcasses. So basically they're going to be executed, and the mountains shall be melted with their blood. So yeah, because they want to come up against the Lord's going to officially destroy them. And when I say destroy them, meaning it's going to take away their bodies. Man. When I say their bodies, I mean these terrestrial bodies. When it says and all the hosts of heaven shall be dissolved, and the heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll. And again, this is going into the mushroom cloud, which comes after a detonation of a nuclear missile. And all the hosts shall fall down, as the leaf falling out from the vine, and as a falling fig from the fig tree. And yes, going into them missiles, man. They're gonna fall and they're going to destroy, as also known as the wasters. This is my soul shall be bathed in heaven. Behold, it shall come down upon our demon, upon the people of my cursed judgment, which is then going back into the Edomites. They're going to receive the judgment. You know what? I'll finish now. Which I still haven't finished talking, but yeah, the Lord's gonna bring judgment upon them. They can have the land of America. They can have the land of America, and also dwell in the land of Israel. But even then, the Lord said He was going to destroy them. Like literally, like North America is going to be destroyed. Babylon, not Babylon. The land of Israel is going to be destroyed too. The reason why it's going to be destroyed is because of what they've done to the people of Yahweh Shema Shai, or to the people who dwell from Yasha'Allah, being the chosen nation, being the Israelites, which are the Negroes, Latinos, Hispanics, and Native Americans, including the Mexicans and similar Indians. But yeah, man, I hope this was edifying. I want to give all praises. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Shema Shai, and Shalom, man.